Hey everyone, I'm Garrett Hallfish. Happy New Year to you all. With a whole new year, that means a whole new year of movies that you can go out to see, you can watch them with friends, and I just want to make sure that the theater remains relevant, because it is. There's times to go to the theater, and there's times where you don't really need to. And I really want to talk about the moments that I think are perfect for going to a theater. And of course, right off the bat, you have these big blockbusters that you gotta see in theaters just because they're big movies and you need a big screen to watch these. It's like, think of a classic like Jurassic Park. If you could imagine Jurassic Park, you've got, close your eyes, you remember that scene where they first get there and they're exploring the area and the dinosaurs are just walking across the open grass. And it just feels huge. And that, that wonder set you up for the rest of the movie to just absorb it and enjoy the experience. And now try to imagine that on a much smaller screen. You're just not gonna get the same impact. It's gonna seem like you're playing with toys. So that's why, those movies, granted, with Jurassic Park, you can't necessarily see it in theaters that easily anymore, but those are the kind of movies that are best seen in a theater. And so, more recently, continuing with dinosaurs, there's some other reasons why you should go see a movie. And one of them, with The Good Dinosaur, that's not a great movie, I can admit that. Pixar can have a few flops because they just constantly are hitting home run after home run. So that's okay that this one isn't that great. But while the story isn't great, that movie is stunning to look at. Just look at any of the open vistas, and I've never seen computer animation look so realistic. I want to go in this world and I want to just look at its beauty. It's just, you can tell that they know it too because they just spend many shots just panning over the open world. It's beautiful. I can't get over enough. I'm happy I saw that in a theater just for that reason. I don't plan to watch it again because at home, you can be okay, it's a nice picture, but in a theater, you could just see this open world, and that was incredible. And that made the whole movie worth it just because of that. And then, of course, there's some other reasons to go to a theater. Recently we had Star Wars, which is a franchise that, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's pretty big. So those you go, not necessarily because they need to be on big screens, but because it's all about the community there. I saw it in IMAX, I saw it in regular, and IMAX isn't that much better than they're more or less the same experience. But to go there on opening night, that was awesome. You're there with the fans, and so when something happens on screen that the fans enjoy, just the place roars with applause, and you get caught up in the hype, and you are just smiling ear to ear, and that is something that I wish I could get with every movie experience. Granted, there's not that many franchises that are that big, but that's just something that you can't get at home. You can watch it with your buddies and friends, but it's just gonna feel so small in comparison. There's not gonna be that love and the adoring fans cheering on a movie. That's something special. Now, what really made me want to talk about this is, of course, Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight, which is truly an experience that you can only get in theaters. I saw it in the Roadshow version, the glorious 70mm film. And that was really cool. So the main differences between the regular version and the 70mm version is that One, there's a lovely overture to start off with the movie. Two, you've got an intermission. And three, the scenes are just cut a little bit different. I'm not sure the exact differences. I haven't seen the other version, but Quentin Tarantino said that there's some differences there. But the reason I wanted to see the 7mm version is just because this is just not an experience you can get anymore. I mean, one, it's on actual reels. So, like, when you're watching it, it has this magic to it. Kind of like when you look at an old Polaroid film, or just film in general. There's just something you can't quite capture in the digital format. There's just that warmth to it. That it feels like you're at the theaters, and that was fantastic. And then the fact that, like, because it was on reels, you didn't have any of those annoying advertisements playing an hour before the show, the same commercials over and over and over. You didn't have any previews. Right at 7 o'clock when it starts, the movie starts. So that was really neat. But to start with an overture, it just sets the mood. I mean, all you see is just on the screen, it just says overture. But you just listen, and everyone slowly stops talking, and you're like, all right, the show is about to begin. And then the movie goes on, and I don't know if it's just the way he edited it or what, but like, I've never seen a movie that felt more like a play. I mean, you go out for the intermission, and it's like you went to a theater, like a stage theater, and that was just really neat. You get to talk about what you thought of the first act. That was something cool, and I kind of wish every movie had that, especially since it allowed for the change in tone in the second act to feel so much more rewarding and more natural, because you had time to digest the first half and talk about it. And then the second half starts, and you're like, all right, let's go, let's get to this. And then it's a joyride to the very end. And that's something that you honestly, physically can't get. Even if you get the DVD version, you're never gonna get that again unless they bring it back. That's a reason why you go to a movie theater, for these experiences. I mean, you've got these old theaters that occasionally play old movies. Those are times you gotta go to the theater, just because the magic and the wonder that centers around these movies. Movies are a fantastic thing, and even with larger TVs and home projection screens and everything, theaters are never gonna die, at least in my opinion, because people like that magic. So please, in 2016, make the resolution to go see more movies in theaters. You don't have to go see a small little drama or biopic in theaters, but go see something that you're really interested in, whether it's a big blockbuster movie, a classic movie, just a recently classic movie, anything. Just go see a movie and enjoy it. And with that, that is this week's episode. So please let me know what movies you may have seen and what experiences you had in the comments below. Also, follow us on Twitter. You can do so at NerdMuchCom. You can also find us on Facebook via the description below. I'd like to thank you all for joining us this week. I'll see you next time. Now, there is one movie I would like to do an experiment with. The movie Ant-Man. Because it's about a guy who can shrink. So, shouldn't I watch it at home? Or maybe even watch it on like a small little cell phone? Or go even smaller, go on like the Apple Watch or something like that. Should I just find a smaller screen?